It's come, it's come. I'll get back. Yeah, thank you. Hello everyone. Okay. I hope I'm audible, and I hope you can comment telling that you can hear me clearly. Okay, so am I audible? Can you all comment in the comment section whether I'm audible? You can hear me, good to go? Yes, thank you so much, Livia. So imagine this scenario. Okay, you go to a supermarket and your child asks you for something which you don't want to, buy and give them. Maybe it is some fancy colored chocolates which is usually on the counter, or an expensive toy, or not so expensive but it's already there at home. It's going to be a waste, so you don't want to give in. The child would probably lie on the floor, cry, scream in that supermarket. At the same time, it's so easy to just buy that particular toy and give it to the child, isn't it? So, but at the same time, you also know there are so many in that market whose eyes are just judging you, they're just looking at you. So, you need to think about what are you going to do? Can you tell me, even if you have not faced such scenario, in case you confront it in future, what are you going to do? So you can put it in the comment box. So at that situation, you don't want to give in, that's not the solution, but at the same time, it's easy to buy things and give it to child, and at the same time, all the shoppers, everyone is in store, watching you, judging you all around, and your child is busy performing himself with his tantrum. So what are you going to do? You can always comment in the box. So very good afternoon, my dear viewers. One of the greatest privilege one can have is to be a parent. So congratulations on being one. But before I start my talk, let me be clear that there is no one size fits all approach. However, I hope the tips I'm going to share that would help you to some extent for effective parenting. Usually we see there are festivities when babies are born, and all are happy and joyful to see them growing up. Today I'm going to talk about two age groups, that is a toddler group and preschoolers. So toddlers themselves is word taken from toddle, which means walking unsteadily. Walking, falling is the greatest joy in growing up, biggest fun. It's very important for us to give correct messages, I can say, in correct way. There are so many problems we usually face in parenting because there isn't any training before we become parents, or unexpectedly we become parents. So there's no planning as such to be a parent. So a lot of times we go into trial and error methods and experiment our own children, which definitely would cause a hindrance to them in case we do the wrong parenting style. The most important thing in parenting is communication. So although our words is just 30%, I can say, but we need to be really specific in our communication. Simple example like behave good. When we are going to somebody's house, probably we say behave good. So this whole idea of being good, the children may not know. So you need to be specific on what is that good that you are expecting from a child. So please talk when somebody talks to you, or do not spoil others' belongings. So these are the specific instructions which we could give our children. Do put in the comment box what's the most common problem you face as a parent. Okay, and after the live session I'll go in detail with all your comments and I'll try addressing them. But today the most common problem what we usually face is temper tantrum, and I know it is easier said than done, but being patient enough, or you can be practicing it over and over, I'm sure you can achieve your goal and you would not find yourself being helpless. Now there are two things what I really want to say before we start on few tips on parenting techniques. Firstly, that's the child's behavior is a mirror image of parents' behavior. Okay, it's a mirror reflection, I can say, of parents' behavior. As teachers, myself as an educator or teachers in class can recognize how the parents are just by interacting with the child. Same goes with the teachers at home. The child would have a teacher game, and you know how the teacher would communicate with the child just by watching his play. Yes, so our voice, our adult's voice becomes their inner voice, which we have to know that. And at times probably we have been enjoying it. At times it looks really funny when children talk like adults. At times, like, we term them as granny, granny of the house, you're talking like a granny. It's just that picking up our words, and that's what shows that we need to model, we need to change before the child we try working on children. So many of them, whenever they face these problems in parenting or find yourself helpless, we tend to put on all of us frustration by hitting the child. So spanking. So how many of y'all have spanked your children? Again, please comment below, and I would like to know, did it work? Because I'm asking you to comment so that we learn from each other, because we may face such situation in future. So did spanking ever work for any of you parent? Please write below. And if yes, how often have you spanked them? Hitting, is it a solution to overcome any problem what you face during parenting? That is one thing which I would want you all to reflect on, because it's a big no. The more we hit, scream, argue in front of children, there is more of tantrums in children. So coming back to toddlers. Now toddlers are just black and white, I can say, from 2 years to 4 years, or 2 to 3 years, 1 year to 3 years. This is the age group where toddlers are, 1 to 3 years. So they are black and white, they need clear instructions. There should be consistency in your rules, in your way, and order in an environment. Little bit of fluctuation, the child would be disturbed. I can say that sometimes they are frustrated within, and it's just an emotional outburst in children. Sometimes children themselves can't help it. And I'm sure they're not at times not manipulating it, but depending on how you are reacting to a particular situation, definitely it's going to be a manipulative tool. I would like to give an example. So it's like, if you're having a late night sleep and you wake up early morning, next day there's a function and the child has not got enough amount of sleep, and you know the reason, it's a genuine case, and the child would be cranky, probably the child would be throwing tantrums during that program probably, but you know the reason. And that moment when the child is being so disturbed, you will react in such different ways than your usual way of handling your own child. So the child realizes that, okay, today I am sleepy or disturbed or whatever, and mother is acting like this because I screamed, because I was on the floor. So that could be a genuine case, but in future he would take it as a tool. I hope you understand, I am sure. So it would take it as a tool for him to get his ways done. So remember, tantrum is also an expression of child's frustrations. Making the child understand is such a challenge for parents. There are so many challenging moments what we face. Perhaps child might be having trouble in figuring out what is next, what is expected out of me, or how do I complete this particular task, and he would just get all his emotions together and outburst it. So children also lack words to express their feelings. We know how we feel, but when children want to express their feelings, they fall short of it, and they want you to identify their feelings, and that's why at times they probably throw tantrums. So frustration, anger, when they don't know to handle, definitely assure it that there will be temper tantrums. Secondly, I know that we have attention seeking children. So many of us think that ignoring is a problem, ignoring the child is a solution, and when I ask parents, do you give in? So I hardly give in, that's what they say, I hardly give in, I hardly pay attention to him, but still he does this tantrum. Now when y'all say hardly, it's not done. It is more prone to temper tantrums. It should have been never given or never pay attention during tantrums. Never is important, because when you hardly give in, because there are some times that you give in. It is like gambling. Many people are addicted to gambling. Why? Because sometimes you may win and sometimes you may not win. So similarly with temper tantrums, sometimes you give in, sometimes you don't give in. Children enjoy it. Rather than all time winning and all time you lose, it's so boring, right? So when you give in sometimes, when you don't give in sometimes, children enjoy that pleasure, and probably there are repetition of temper tantrums. So these are the different things I want you all to comment. I don't see any comments about the problem you face. Please do write down, and then probably I will address it after the live session through the message. Now also I would like to tell you, when your child would perform a temper tantrum, what is it he does? Does he lie on the floor? Does he scream? What does he do? So each child shows it in a different way. So do comment in so that others know what are the different types of throwing a tantrum. So it may start off with a simple problem, just like eating problem, and then it turns to a severe temper tantrum. Screaming, shouting, hitting, banging head. There are children who hold their breath and turn blue, lying on the floor, fake conversions. It ranges to severity. But your response to a tantrum is what decides how the tantrum is going to progress or worse with time. So your response to a tantrum is very important. So if a child learns that everybody is leaving whatever they are doing, they are busy with, adults we see them being so busy, so they leave everything and they attend to him, and it would give him so much attention, there's so much of pleasure. At the same time, if you do not, day 1 he would probably cry for 2 to 3 hours, day 2 1 to 2 hours, day 3 there's improvement, and day 4 probably he soothes himself, learns to settle himself. So change yourself first, and the child will change automatically. You can't expect different results when you're doing the same thing. So your approach needs to keep changing. See what fits into your situation. I'm not aware of what situation your child and you would be. Some of them live in joint families, some of them are in single parents. So you have to see your situation, see what fits in, and probably you can work on your child. Sometimes temper tantrums can be even really scary. So something like holding their breath or fake conversion. So do not panic. I know it's easy to say, but we need to practice not to panic, because it will only repeat if we panic. So some of the solutions during the severities, you can just sprinkle water on the child's face to get him back, or distract him particular, like the tantrum is coming and you can say, oh, look at that bird, oh, look at that fellow who fell down, just try to take that situation, or give him a snack, just take him out to a garden. There are different ways. You have to see that getting away before it comes. And sometimes when the child cries, you need to move on. Like for my daughter, when we live in a joint family, I live with my in-laws. So when my daughter cries and I try to ignore it for particular food, she doesn't want to eat some vegetables, so I probably ignore it, and you may have others attending to her, like maybe my mother-in-law would attend to her, or she's happy seeking that attention from granny, at least, even if her mother is that villain. So but it doesn't matter. You need to tell priorly in your house, saying that this is for the good of the child, please, she'll get back to it, please do not attend to her until she's done. And once she's done with her crying, move on to another topic. Don't get back to that same vegetable topic. You have said she has to eat and it's done. So try it, and definitely you can work on it. Another thing we usually know from initial days, that is timeout. But timeout is not done very effectively, and that's why probably it's not worked out. Timeout is isolation. Do comment where, if you're giving a timeout, has it worked for you, and where is the place? Do you change the place oftenly for timeout, or there is a specific place for timeout? So do comment. I would like to know what you do as timeout for misbehaving. So timeout, when you give an isolation, if you feel sad that children are standing in a corner with that sad face, and you feel like giving in, but remember, at that moment, try to depict an Robert who has no emotions, no energy, and yes, it's not affecting you. If you can't see it, just go to another room or move away from that place. So redirecting or distracting when you see it coming, even that helps out. And yes, very important thing, what I would like to suggest everyone is yes, so I was just reading your comments. Yeah, I'll address those shortly. Anyways, yeah, a very important point for us adults is the Kodak movement. Okay, I call it the Kodak movement because we children definitely want to see that wow expression, or that is considered as attention. We may know that we love our children a lot, just like probably you expect some expression from your spouse of showing their love to us, although we know they're there, we know that they love us, but we want that expression. So I call it as a Kodak moment, and just for 5 seconds I would want you all to 5 seconds you can just say that wow, you're wearing this dress, or wow, you painted so beautifully, wow, you could dress up yourself, wow, you did that chapati on your own, or wow, you played so well with your child. There's so many wow moments. So at least 3, minimum is 3, don't go too much of wows, but minimum 3 every day for 5 seconds. When they are happy or when they are behaving good, you need to say this, and maybe night time when you brush, have you done your Kodak moment? That's the question you probably could ask them, and they will be encouraged to do more of good behavior. So don't forget the Kodak moment. Yes, the most embarrassing one is throwing a tantrum in public, because everyone's there, and so one solution definitely is just pick your child, take him to your car or your vehicle, wherever you have come, let him sit there, cry, and just try to ignore. And once he's done, probably you can go back to the market or you can go back home, but don't get engaged with the child, don't interact with the child in public. Yes, and we know that temper tantrums are powerful stimulus to parents' reactions. Everybody would want that. Each child knows that it is a powerful stimulus to parents' reaction. They learn very quickly, and but remember, it's a part of typical development. Everybody would throw a tantrum one way or the other. Only when it is severe, probably we need to address it. But let it not go to that extent. Tantrums being oftenly performed. So understanding this maybe puts you in a positive parenting style, and it's okay. At times children are out of control. We are cool. So enjoy that parenthood with children. Model the calm voice, because when you have this thought in your head that the child is throwing tantrum, it's okay, he's just gone out of control, it's just this moment, and then probably you can calm your voice. Disengage your child, and I know it is easy to pick that toy and give him or meet his demands, but you will face a lot of consequences in future if you give in now, and then it would be definitely difficult for you to reduce it or do effective parenting with the child. So don't nag, don't whine. And also I would like to ask you all to comment on the below box, like whenever you visit out, do you all give any instructions to your children? Is there any instructions that you talk to the child? Where you are going? What are you going to do? So we are going to this place particular, and these are the ones who will be there, and this one is talk about them. Or when I go to Fun City or wherever, I instruct my child, you can choose only 2 rides today, that's it, and no more. Don't ask me there, I'm definitely not going to take you again. So that is the instruction which I give her priorly. Supermarket, you choose what you want, try reading the MRP, it should be below 100. So such instructions probably you need to give them before you leave the house, and that could be very effective, giving them instructions priorly when there is a change, or when you're doing something exciting. It's not only help me as a parent, but when we work with group of children going out for a field trip, we do instruct children what they are expected, and what they can expect, and what we expect from these children, to stay together, to be aware of, look down and walk and enjoy the scenery, don't get lost, stay in the group. All those things we do instruct them priorly, so that really helps for any group or any group of children. So these are the different things what I feel is effective with children. And coming point by point to prevent the problem, I would like to say a few things. That is okay, your comment box. Yes, a lot of questions are there, I will definitely address, ma'am. So preventing the problem. So mainly, how do you prevent temper tantrums, that it's not there, that you don't have to face it at all? So firstly, I would like you all to tell that teach children how to handle frustrations and anger. So there are moments where we ourselves face these situations, right? Maybe you had a bad time in your office, or maybe your spouse yells at you, or maybe your dish goes wrong today, it's overheated and all. So how do you react? So you can speak to the child, I'm so upset today, my day didn't work, please give me some alone time. Or you speak to them, I can get back. Or, you're really upset, you tell them that I'm upset right now, so just give me 5 minutes, I'm going to get back to myself. So such way to handle situations would be really effective. Give pat on the back. I have told you, when catch children doing good, being good, okay, I'm so glad you asked for help, I'm so glad you completed this puzzle. Even it can be related to the Kodak moment what I spoke about. Also, this is very important, and we tend to forget this. Don't let playtime mean alone time, or doesn't mean if the child is good, mom and dad disappears. Only when the child is bad or misbehaving, you give your attention, you're there for the child to help him cope with that situation, because he's screaming or making noise. But when he's quiet, he's calm, he's enjoying, be there. see that you enjoy that he enjoys your attention at those times too. Be consistent. Don't sometimes, yeah, be consistent, make the same rules. Sometimes you allow food in front of the TV, sometimes it's not okay. So all these things, probably there's a lot of disturbance. Plan ahead, encourage the child to express and use words, and avoid situations which triggers these tantrums. You go for shopping, you want to buy a sari, you are just sitting there choosing sari, and the child is bored. Or you are sitting with adults, you're chatting, and you're expecting your child just to sit there and listen to adults conversation. They are restless, they don't want to sit and listen, they get bored. So try avoiding such situations which triggers tantrum. Create a diversion, stick to a daily time routine that really would help the child. And if you want to solve the problem, what you need to do is ignore the child's tantrum. I have told you to be try being a robot, try being hard on feelings. You feel like hugging your child with that small face, but try staying without any energy, like any emotions. Or if it's difficult, just move out, go to the kitchen, let he be in the living room. So try moving away. Stand firm. Many parents say it's so difficult for us to withdraw TV from children. Nowadays gadgets become a big issue. So why are you not firm? Why are you scared to give in? Who buys that mobile? You are on hold, so you need to be firm. This is it, or else no. So TV problem, media problem, screen time becomes an issue only when you're not firm. Remain as calm as you can. I know it's difficult. Although I'm soft spoken, I took a lot of time to stay calm, but I do. My technique is probably I sing some song and I try to just sit when there's a tantrum around. So praise your child when he's doing good and he needs those things. So these are the things what you need to do to solve a problem. And tell priorly about the situations. Identify your child's feeling. Are you feeling sad? This really helps when a child falls down and the child is crying. So get into the practice of identifying what he's feeling. Oh, is it hurting? You talk instead of blaming the floor, or you need to be careful. Sometimes parents hit another one, couldn't you be careful? All these things, it can go on and on. So just try asking identify the child's feelings. So in school, probably for teachers, when a child is crying, for kindergarten, you can identify the feeling of the child. Oh, you miss mama, you want to go home. So what happens? Children cry for you to understand what they're feeling. So they probably would nod their head saying, yes, I am feeling so. So and then probably the crying also would reduce. So try identifying their feelings. They also recognize these are these feelings. So understanding feeling is very important. One more important thing is of our movement. So just like Kodak movement, to say wow, we have our movement, realization movement. So you go out in a public or anywhere, you point out to a child. If a child is running, destroying things, those are the moments you need to show the child. He won't learn it. You can always tell him, look how bad it's looking, or look, do you want to be like that? Do you want to be a silly boy? It's when you are grumpy, it looks like that, or when you're throwing a tantrum, it would be like that. So probably you can show these movements for them, talk about it during those times. And it helps even for studying. If you want your child to sit and study, you can show them beggars on the street. So these are some you need to talk. Again, I said about communication being really good. So what not to do is, don't explain when they are throwing a tantrum. When the child is himself throwing a tantrum or in between crying, don't go to give your explanations or your things. Like, let him cry, let him express himself through crying. So don't interrupt or don't go to explain anything. Don't get engaged with your child. Secondly, very important I feel is, you yourself don't throw a tantrum. Sometimes the child is throwing a tantrum, your mother is screaming, or father is screaming, or anybody in the house, and this whole galata happening in the house just because the child has thrown a tantrum. So try staying calm. Secondly, third point, I think don't belittle your child. So usually we say this selfish boy, probably you say a bad boy. These terms are there from long time, a bad boy, bad girl. So try appreciating their jobs. It's a human tendency to see only mistakes. Why aren't we talking about good things when they are doing good things? So try talking about the good things rather than, pointing them to be bad boy and the whole personality is bad. Are they doing bad all the time? Is it all the time? So that is one important question you can keep asking. Is it all the time? No. You do this, it's a bad. You spoil someone's belonging, okay, that's a bad job. So you can always concentrate on the job what they're doing, or the work what they're doing. Don't be a historian. Never to be an historian, like talking about past. We as adults would definitely not want anyone to talk about our mistake, what we had done prior. It's okay, we are done, move on. So similarly with the children, so do not be a historian, and don't make your child pay for the tantrum. Okay. Never beat, never ever beat or threaten a child. Verbal reprimand should never be abusive. Tell your children these behaviors are not acceptable. So this is one ways, few tips which I have suggested. And yes, living in a society, being a preschool teacher or a psychologist or a teacher, doctor or a celebrity, it doesn't mean that our children need to all the time behave good. They can cry, they can throw a tantrum. Don't be judgmental of children around. It's just that they're having their moment. Okay, at times definitely they may be out of control, so let it go, calm down. Of course you have to work on misbehaving, and those issues are a big no, but you need to speak to your child about these misbehaving. Yes, that's it about me, and let me see, there are a lot of queries, lot of, yeah, on in the comment box. I will definitely address to this through my reply. I hope the tips what I shared was useful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Team Moms of Mangalore, for giving me this opportunity and having such wonderful programs. There are many other talks too. So stay tuned and do share this page itself. Yes, with the anonymous question, I will address it over there, or I will type in very soon. So thank you.